Today, we are diving deep into James Clear's incredible book, Atomic Habits. Seriously, this thing has totally changed the game for millions of people when it comes to self-improvement and, actually making changes that stick. So let's just start with a big one, the question we've all wrestled with. Why is it so hard to build good habits and just ridiculously easy to slide back into the bad ones? We all set these big goals, but then there's this huge gap between where we want to be and where we actually are. It's frustrating, right? Well, James Clear comes in with this kind of radical idea. He says the problem isn't you. And get this, it's not even your goals. The problem is your system. I love this quote. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Think about it. Winners and losers in any field often have the exact same goals. It's the system that makes all the difference. Okay, so if the system is what matters, what does a good system even look like? Well, this brings us right to the heart of the whole book, the 1% improvement rule. The idea here is that tiny, almost invisible improvements, when you do them over and over again, they compound into something absolutely amazing. And if you want to see this in action, you gotta hear the story of the British cycling team. For like 100 years, these guys were basically a joke in the cycling world. In over a century, not a single British cyclist had ever won the Tour de France. They were just mediocre. But then, this new guy, Dave Brailsford, takes over. And he brings in this philosophy he calls the aggregation of marginal gains. And this is where it gets kind of wild. They started improving everything by just 1%. I mean, they tested different massage gels to see which one helped muscles recover faster. They hired a surgeon to teach the cyclists the proper way to wash their hands to avoid getting sick. They even figured out the perfect pillow for each rider to get a better night's sleep. They went so far as to paint the inside of the team truck white just so they could spot tiny bits of dust on the bikes easier. It's obsessive, but it's brilliant. It sounds almost crazy, right? All these tiny little things, but look at the results. In just 10 years, from 2007 to 2017, they won an unbelievable 178 world championships. Oh, and 5 Tour de France titles. It's just a perfect illustration of how these tiny atomic habits build on each other to create something truly remarkable. Okay, so we get it. Those 1% changes are incredibly powerful. But how do we actually, use this in our own lives? Well, Clear gives us this super simple, practical framework to do just that. He calls it the 4 laws of behavior change. And here they are. This is our roadmap. Number 1, make it obvious. Number 2, make it attractive. 3 is make it easy. And finally, number 4, make it satisfying. This is the whole system. Let's break each one down real quick. So, law 1, make it obvious. The truth is, our environment plays this huge role in our behavior. I mean, we're just way more likely to do things that are sitting right there in front of us. It's that simple. Check out this study from a hospital cafeteria. It's a perfect example. At first, the only place you could get water was in the main refrigerators. But then, the researchers made one tiny change. They put water at every single drink station in the room, making it the most obvious choice. And the results? Without telling anyone or putting up a single sign, soda sales dropped by over 11%, and water sales jumped almost 26%. They just made the good habit obvious. All right, law number 2, make it attractive. It makes sense, right? The more we want to do something, the more likely we are to actually do it. And the secret sauce here is a strategy called temptation bundling. Basically, you pair something you need to do with something you want to do. The TV network ABC were masters at this. They wanted people to watch their shows on Thursday nights. So what did they do? They branded the whole night TGIT. Thank God it's Thursday. And they bundled watching their shows with things people already love doing, like relaxing with a glass of red wine and eating popcorn. Pretty soon, people started to associate watching ABC with that feeling of fun and relaxation they were already looking for. Next, we've got Law 3, make it easy. You know how we always get stuck trying to figure out the perfect plan or the best way to start? Well, Clear says forget all that. The best way is to just remove friction. Make it as easy as humanly possible to get started. This story about a photography class just nails it. The professors split the class into 2 groups. The quality group, over on the left, was told they'd be graded on just one single perfect photo. The quantity group on the right, they were graded purely on the number of photos they took. So who do you think took the best pictures? It was the quantity group by a landslide.
While the quality group sat around thinking about what makes a perfect photo, the quantity group was out there just taking pictures, making mistakes, learning, and getting better through pure action.
And that brings us to the final law, the one that really locks the habit in place. Law 4, make it satisfying. Our brains are wired for immediate rewards. So if a behavior feels good right away, we're much more likely to do it again. This is why giving yourself a little win is so important. The paperclip strategy is just a brilliant, simple example. There was a stockbroker who had to make 120 sales calls every day, so he put 2 empty jars on his desk. He filled one with 120 paperclips, and after every single call, he'd move one paperclip over to the other jar. That simple visual proof of his progress, that was immediately satisfying. It created this little feedback loop that kept him motivated.
Now, on top of that 4-step system, Clear also talks about these really powerful mindset shifts. And one of the simplest ones is just changing how you talk about your habits. Shifting your words from I have to do this to I get to do this.
Just look at the difference here. It's just one word, but it totally changes the feeling. It turns a chore into an opportunity. You don't have to wake up for a run. You get to build your endurance. You don't have to cook dinner. You get to care for the people you love. It's such a simple reframe, but it makes any habit feel so much more attractive.
But really, all of this, the systems, the 4 laws, the mindset shifts, it's all pointing to something much, much bigger. The real goal here isn't just about changing what you do, it's about changing who you are. At its core, true behavior change is identity change. This is why focusing on your identity is so much more powerful than focusing on outcomes. See, the goal isn't just to run a marathon. The goal is to become a runner. It's not just to write a book, it's to become a writer. Every little action you take is like casting a vote for the type of person you want to become. You're not just doing a task, you're building a new identity. This quote from the book just illustrates it perfectly. It's from a man who bit his nails his entire life. He decided to get a manicure one day, and that one small act changed everything for him. He said, "Suddenly, I was proud of my fingernails. I've never chewed my nails since, because I now take pride in properly caring for them." That single action shifted his identity. He wasn't a nail biter anymore. He was someone who took pride in his hands. The bad habit just didn't fit with who he was now. Of course, this kind of change doesn't happen in a day. It takes patience, it takes consistency, and that brings us to this beautiful analogy from Jacob Riis. When nothing seems to help, I go and look at a stonecutter hammering away at his rock. At the 101st blow, it will split in 2, and I know it was not that last blow that did it, but all that had gone before. Every small habit, every 1% improvement is one more tap of that hammer on the stone. So the question to leave you with is a simple one. What 1% change, what single tap of the hammer are you going to make today?